Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now, our group will present our video project for MGMT 2305 Decision Science titled Decision Making from an Islamic Perspective. The main objective of this project is to bridge decision science technique with Quranic wisdom. We aim to explore how analytical tools such as project scheduling and linear programming are closely related to Islamic teachings and values. This project is also based on the concept of Tauhidic epistemology, where modern management knowledge is integrated with Islamic principles. As Muslim and student of IIUM, we believe that decision making should not focus only on efficiency and profit, but also on fulfilling our amanah with ihsan, which means excellence and responsibility. Our key focus is to understand how Islamic values such as ihsan, moderation, patience, and trust can support analytical decision making in organization and also daily life. In this presentation, we will provide a conceptual analysis of two decision science techniques, which are project scheduling and linear programming, and relate them to relevant Quranic verses and Islamic teachings. We explain the connection between project scheduling and Surah Al-Asr verses 1 to 3. Allah says in Surah Al-Asr, "By the passage of time, indeed, mankind is in loss except for those who have believed and done righteous deeds and advised each other to truth and advised each other to patience." This verse shows the importance of time, and according to the tafsir, people will face loss if they waste time and do not use it wisely. This relates closely to project scheduling because time is very important in every project. If deadlines are not managed properly, projects may face delays and increased costs. Good scheduling helps ensure tasks are completed on time. The phrase righteous deeds also relates to ihsan, which means doing work with excellence and quality. In addition, advising each other with truth and patience reflects teamwork, honest communication, and also resilience during challenges. For example, in a community-centered construction project, the team can use a Gantt chart to manage the timeline, maintain the quality work, and also stay patient during weather delays. In conclusion, Surah Al-Asr teaches us the importance of managing time wisely, working with excellence, and practicing patience to achieve success in project scheduling. Next, I will explain the connection between the linear programming and also Surah Al-Furqan verse 67. Allah says in Surah Al-Furqan, "And those who, when they spend, do not sow excessively or sparingly, but are ever between that justly moderate." This verse teaches the principle of qawam, which means moderation and balance. Islam discourages both wastefulness and underutilization of resources. Instead, Muslims are encouraged to manage resources wisely and efficiently. This concept is closely related to linear programming. Linear programming is a mathematical method used to find the best solution while considering certain constraints such as limited materials, labor, or time. The goal is to maximize profit or minimize waste. This reflects the Islamic teaching of avoiding israf, which means wastefulness. Linear programming helps organizations use resources efficiently without overproduction or unnecessary losses. For example, a factory producing product A and product B may have a limited raw materials and workers, but by using linear programming, the factory can determine the best production mix to maximize profit while minimize waste and excess inventory. In conclusion, Surah Al-Furqan teaches moderation and responsible resource management, which strongly connects with the principle of linear programming.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Iman. Now I will explain about project scheduling from the perspective of decision science and Islam. Project scheduling is a technique used to plan, organize, manage activities in a project. The main purpose is to ensure that every task is complete in the correct order and within the time. This technique helps improve time management, coordination, and efficiency. It also helps avoid delays, confusion, and wasted resources during a project. In simple words, project scheduling teaches us in the importance of proper planning and discipline before carrying out any task. For example, when organizing a university event, The community needs to schedule the different activities such as booking the venue, preparing posters, finding sponsors, and arranging equipment. If the tasks are not planned properly, the event may face delays or problems. From an Islamic perspective, project scheduling is closely related to the value of planning and responsibility. Islam encourages Muslims to manage time wisely and complete responsibilities in an organized manner. This shows that good planning is important not only in decision science but also in our daily life as a Muslim.
Moving on, my name is M.IkhwanRidzuan. I will be explaining on the fundamental concept of linear programming. Linear programming is a mathematical decision technique that used to help the decision maker to find the best solution when resources are limited. In real life, individual, business, organization, often face limitation such as limited money, time, labor, material, or machine. Linear programming help decision maker to use these limited resources in the most efficient way. The first important concept in linear programming is objective function. This represents the main goal of the problem. For example, a firm may want to maximize profit, maximize production, or minimize costs. The objective function clearly shows what we are trying to achieve. The second concept in linear programming is constraint. Constraints are the limitation that must be followed. For example, a company may only have a certain number of workers and a limited budget or a fixed amount of raw material. This constraint restricts the possible choice available. The third concept in linear programming is decision variable. So these are the unknown value that we want to determine. For example, how many units of product A and product B should be produced in order to maximize profit. That's the problem statement, or we can recap, that's the objective function. So and then we move to the fourth concept in linear programming, which is non-negativity. This means that the value of decision variable cannot be negative, because in real world we cannot produce a negative unit or product. We cannot have a negative hour of labor, for example. Finally, the best solution in linear programming, they are found in feasible region. So the feasible region is the area where all the constraints are satisfied. In linear programming, the optimal solution is usually found at one of the corner point of the feasible region. In conclusion, linear programming is useful for decision maker because it helps decision maker make a better decision, and also to understand the problem that they are facing, to reduce waste and use limited resources efficiently. Thank you.
We'll explore how project scheduling aligns with the timeless wisdom of Surah Al-Asr. In decision science, the most critical element is the critical path, because any delay here doesn't just slow things down, it also leads directly to project failure. This technical reality mirrors the divine oath in Al-Asr, which emphasizes that mankind is in a state of loss. In our professional context, we also define this as a loss, because as the inefficiency and waste caused specifically by the poor timing. To the management of the project team, the rules calls for advising each other to truth and patience. We see this reflected in the communication plan and risk management aspects of schedulings, because team must communicate transparently the truth and remain resilient. Moreover, the patience, especially when facing unexpected delay. In our summary for our analysis, it shows that while Surah Al-Asr provides the framework to avoid the spiritual loss, Project scheduling serves as the framework to avoid operational loss. Both recognizes a fundamental truth and the time is the merchant's capital, and once it's spent, it is gone forever. So by valuing every second of a project's duration, we bridge the gap between technical efficiency and spiritual accountability.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurhana Natira, and today we're going to start with the Quranic principle of qawam, which is just moderation. Surah Al-Furqan verse 67 uses two powerful Arabic terms, which is israf, excessive spending, waste, going beyond bounds. Second, yaqturu, stinginess, holding back, underutilization. The verse describes believers as those who do neither israf nor yaqturu. Instead, they stay in the middle, which is balance. Now, what is linear programming's main goal? Exactly that, finding the optimal point, which is it is not too much israf or too little yaqturu. Israf, waste or overproduction. Yaqturu, either resources or inefficiency. The middle, which is qawam, the linear programming optimal solution. So, mathematically, moderation is optimal and linear programming give us the number to prove it. Next, let's move to optimization as a stewardship. Let's translate this into operation. In business terms, excessive spending means overproducing. We're using more raw materials than needed and creating the waste. On the other hand, stinginess means underusing what you have. Mean you have the resources, but you don't use them. Machine that could run stay off. Workers who could produce stay idle. Both are forms of loss. Islam calls this imbalance. In linear programming, we call it suboptimal. So optimization isn't just a math, it's a stewardship of resources. Finally, think about constraint in linear programming: limited budget, limited labor hours, limited materials. At first, constraints sound restrictive, but the Quran reframes them. Moderation is a divine constraint, not to limit you, but to guide you. It prevents harm and waste and push you toward the best possible result within what's available. So in linear programming and in life, the boundaries is not your enemy. They are your guide to balance. Now, let's go deeper into the analysis. This isn't just a nice metaphor. The connection is structural. The Quran gives us the moral boundary. Don't be wasteful. Don't be greedy. That's the why. Linear programming gives us the mathematical tool to find the how. Linear programming calculates the exact middle path, the optimal point, where we maximize our output while staying strictly within our real-world limits, which is budget, time, materials, and labor. So, in short, qawam is the ethical framework. Linear programming is the computational engine. Together, they turn moderation from a value into a verifiable result. So, what's our actual methodology? We use linear programming to solve a real resource allocation problem. The objective is twofold. First, minimize cost, which is no waste and no extravagance. Second, maximize efficiency, which is no idle resources, no stinginess. We find decision variables, set up constraints based on available resources, and let the linear programming model find the feasible region. Then the optimal solution at the vertex of balance. This is qawam in action, calculated, not just aspirational.